My 42M sister, 6 years older, passed away 6 years ago, leaving one son, Jeff, 11 at the time, and her husband, Scott. I live in the same city and have always been close with my nephew, as he, like me, is a precocious mathematician and coder. I got along fine with Scott, though he always struck me as a bit of a weak personality and not an intellectual match for my formidable and successful sister. She wore the pants in that marriage. Since her death, I stepped up my time with Jeff and continued to help him pursue enrichment in math/CS. 3 years ago, Scott married Jane, who brought with her 2 daughters, now 9 and 11. Later, they had a son together, now 2. It has not gone well for Jeff. Jane dominates Scott and has pushed the blended family hard. Jeff has little in common with his sisters or Jane. I'd guess he's got at least 25 IQ points on anybody in that house. Jane has also pushed him to be involved in her church, much to Jeff's annoyance. My sister was vocally atheist and Jeff is not into religion either. He spends as much time at my house as he can get away with. When it was time for Jeff to apply to college, his parents were insisting that he only consider commuting to one of 2 universities close to home, because if you leave, you won't ever bond with your siblings, and because you should help out at home. They also objected to the cost, though my sister left a lot of money and a fully paid-off house behind. Much of this has been used to pay for a bigger house to accommodate the new family and for the stepkids' private schools. Lesson: leave your inheritance to a trust for your kids. Jeff secretly applied to his mother's alma mater, a top Ivy League school, and got in. Jane was furious and she and Scott said they wouldn't pay for him to go. I happened to be successful, rich, and childless. I told them and Jeff that I would pay. I can afford it easily. His parents flipped out on him and me, and things have been tense for the last few months. They continue to pressure Jeff not to go away to school, to the point that they also put down a deposit for him at the local university. When it became clear that Jeff was really going, Jane pivoted to complaining that if I am paying for Jeff's education, I should make the same contribution to her other kids, to which I replied that I am not related to her, her husband, or her other kids. I am related to Jeff, the son of the person whom I was closest to for much of my life. Jeff turns 18 in 2 weeks, and I have offered to let him move in with me for the summer, and future summers, if necessary. Jane has been berating me for trying to break up her family, and Scott has been less strident, but has asked me to consider Jane's feelings. Am I the a-hole for interfering in my nephew's family?
Comment 1. NTA for the specific situation, but bro. You keep talking about IQ like it means something. The family doesn't suck because they aren't smart in ways you respect, they suck because they're trying to squash and diminish your nephew and erase your sister's memory and values. Says some not great things about you as a person that you see it as a problem of mismatched IQ. Comment 2. NTA. Her stepmother stole his house, his inheritance, and now wants to steal his future too. The moment the clock strokes midnight on his birthday, get him out of there. Put security on his social security so nobody can open anything in his name. Where I am from, child inherit part of their parents' estate even if there's a living spouse. If your nephew wants, he can sue for it. I know he doesn't need it since you will be paying for him, but it irks me that she took everything his mother worked for. Comment 3. NTA, you are offering him a life-changing opportunity, not breaking up the family. If anything, they are driving him away. But please drop the STEM and IQ arrogance. It's very off-putting. My daughter was a fine arts major, also has a near-genius IQ, and excelled so much in her required basic STEM classes that she got a scholarship from the computer department, and her astronomy professor kept begging her to take his physics classes as she was a natural. She frequently ran into students who made lots of assumptions about her intelligence due to her major, and learned their error the hard way. I, 26F, have been married to my husband, 27M, for 2 years now. Our relationship has had its ups and downs, but recently I discovered something that has shaken me to my core. I have always been open-minded and quite liberal in my beliefs, I volunteer at a shelter for people experiencing homelessness and work at a center specializing in youth mental health. My husband, on the other hand, portrayed himself as similarly minded when we first met. We fell in love, got married, and I have been the primary breadwinner while he pursued various career interests, none of which panned out so far, and he is currently unemployed. The trouble started when I stumbled upon some online activity that revealed he holds very conservative views on social and political issues. These were views he never expressed before, and when I confronted him about it, he admitted that he had deliberately hidden them from me because he knew how important my progressive values were to me. I asked him about the women belong in the home posts he had made and asked him if he thought I would be better at home. He told me that yes, he thought I should be a housewife. This revelation has hit me hard. It's not just about the difference in beliefs itself, but the fact that he kept this fundamental aspect of himself hidden from me. I feel like I don't truly know him anymore, and I'm struggling to reconcile the person I thought I married with this new reality. Especially because his views in this case are unrealistic, especially due to him not even having a job. I've always believed in open communication and honesty in a relationship, and now I feel betrayed. It's not just about politics, it's about trust and respect. I am the one supporting us financially, and while that doesn't bother me inherently, the fact that he misled me about something so significant does. I filed for divorce and gave him the papers today. He pitched a fit and got really angry at me when I told him that I was leaving him. He flew off the handle when I mentioned I was glad the prenup kept our finances separate. He told me I can't leave him like this and that I was an ass and a witch for dumping him like this. That I promised to be with him for richer or poorer and in good times and bad. I feel a bit guilty about leaving him in this way, though I can't be with a person who thinks the way he does about women. Comment 1. This is actually pretty hilarious. The thought of him quietly typing away, "Women's belong in the kitchen, the man is the head of the household, women shouldn't be allowed to vote," and so on, all while sitting at home doing jack shit while you, notably, are women's, earn all the money and, going out on a limb here, but only a very small step, probably do all the housework as well. You, the breadwinner, have every right to kick this freeloading pos to the curb. If he wants to be a good housewife, he needs to find a real man to take care of him. Comment 2. NTA I had a BF once who did something similar, hid these parts until he felt secure enough to show them. I kept thinking it would all work out until it got to the point it was scary. I stayed 3 years until I realized this is genuinely who he was. I fell for someone I could never see eye to eye with, and he would never accept me or my values. Because of these differences, every part of our lives would be an argument. And frankly, he was a bully. Don't stay. It hurts now, but you'll see it's for the best. Comment 3. You made that promise to be with him for richer or for poorer, in good times and bad under false pretenses. He lied about something that would otherwise be a deal breaker because he knew you wouldn't be with him if he told you. He is literally not the person you thought you were marrying. Reducing it to its simplest, he lied to you to get into your pants. I hope you two don't have kids. We're out here trying to make sure these right-wing MAGA red pill shit stains don't breed. I, 38M, am the father of 2 girls, Elsa, 5F, and Anna, 5F. They're physically identical, to the point where even my parents get them mixed up when we visit, and my wife's parents just call them the twins. This is extremely frustrating for me, and I don't think it's healthy for them. There are so many people where we live who see 2 girls with similar features and decide that makes them the same person, which they are not, and I'm beyond sick of it. I'm sick of getting 2 of everything at Christmas and birthdays, even though they have drastically different interests, personalities, and styles. I'm sick of hearing how they're creepy or look like dolls, or having my daughters referred to as a set. At their pre-K, the teachers always kept them together, and often called them the wrong names, which apparently led to some critical information being attributed to the wrong child. I'm done with this. They're going into kindergarten in September, and I'm enrolling them in different schools. They're both private Catholic schools, similar price range, similar prestige, as much as a kindergarten can have prestige. Elsa has a longer commute in the morning than Anna, but that's the only major inequality here, and honestly, I think the extra 15 minutes in the car is worth it in order to have my daughters each recognized as individuals at school. If they're not in the same class, teachers don't know them both, students don't know them both, then my girls will each get the same individual attention as any other kid, rather than half. My wife thinks I'm setting them up for resentment if one school turns out better than the other, and that I'm being unfair to Elsa by having her commute be longer. I let my daughters choose which school each one wanted to go to, and Elsa chose hers because there's birds on the logo. I get that ideally, it would be great to send all our kids to the same school, but I also genuinely believe that giving them this experience apart from one another is crucial for their social and emotional development into emotionally stable adults. Comment 1. NTA. If you can arrange that when you drop Anna off in the morning, then you also pick her up first as well. This way both girls have a chance to talk to you privately, Elsa in the morning after Anna is dropped off and Anna in the afternoon on the way to pick Elsa up, and it not just one kid having that opportunity every day. They might not have anything that they need to say privately or interesting when they are this young, but the benefits will manifest when they are older. Comment 2. Nah. But for future reference, it may be worth finding a larger school and enrolling them in separate classrooms. Private schools especially can have wildly asynchronous school year calendars, and you are going to be sad if spring breaks don't align, random in-service days off school, etc., not to mention the risk of the kids having music concerts or school plays on the same night, etc. They won't have any school friends in common, so you can look forward to twice the amount of commuting to birthday parties, sleepovers, etc. I applaud you for cherishing their individuality. Other fun stuff like different haircuts, hair color streaks, etc. can help them help other people see them as individuals. Comment 3. I think what you're doing is a good idea if and only if you're willing to listen to your daughters and change their schools if they ask for it. If one school ends up being better than the other in later years, if your daughters find they want to be at the same school, whatever. Listen to what they voice about the situation after they've tried it. Nah. My older sister Rita, 20F, is disabled. My sister's disability comes with a lot of health issues, and while mentally she's capable, physically she cannot do much and struggled even with regular school. She never graduated high school because she got so sick in senior year that it set her way back and she didn't get the grades to graduate. She was offered the chance to repeat, but she said no because she was still really bad afterward. It's something that causes her a lot of distress, and she still cries because she feels like she failed in the worst way. Nobody can convince her differently. She doesn't work and she doesn't go to school or anything. She's at home and gets taken care of by our parents. I, 17F, am still in school and I'm going into my senior year. There have been a lot of discussions about college or what other avenue I could go down. I was given information on this apprenticeship that could be perfect for me, and my guidance counselor wanted me to give it consideration over the summer because they take high school graduates. It's exciting. Rita was super upset to hear I had so many options. And not for the first time my parents expected me to think of her before making decisions. They suggested I focus on looking at community colleges only or not going to college at all and going into retail or a service industry job. They told me I could afford my own place if I were to do that. I didn't get to go to camp because Rita couldn't, and they didn't want me to have experiences she couldn't. I wasn't allowed to participate in school plays because Rita couldn't participate in hers. My parents would actually stop my teachers from including me. They refused to sign a permission slip that would have allowed me to enter a competition on behalf of my school, because Rita would never get to have an experience like that herself, and they didn't feel it was right for me to have it then. The permission slip came in because some travel might be involved if I were to go anywhere. They pulled me out of art classes when I was young because I was doing super well and getting a lot of praise. My parents actually pressured me to ask if I could leave the classes, but they pulled me regardless. Rita would always get upset when I achieved something or got presented with a great opportunity. She'd cry, Asked me why I got everything and she got nothing. I felt bad for her but also resentful of the fact she was glad when our parents held me back. This became a fight when the college stuff came up again and my parents saw me looking up the apprenticeship and my parents asked me how I could even think about going and how selfish I would be. They said I should aim for something lower for Rita's sake. Rita heard us argue about it and she said she knows I'm too selfish to give it up for her. I told them I hated them for expecting me to. Rita and my parents said I had no sense of family loyalty at all. Comment 1. NTA. But I'm sorry to say this sounds like emotional abuse. Try to talk to someone, maybe at school or a family member. They are forcing you to live your sister's life. But you have your own life. You are your own person. If they cannot see that, you need to leave that house as soon as possible. Try to go low contact for a while as well until they apologize for what they have done. You are not being selfish for having your own life. Your sister is being selfish for denying you one. Your parents are being absolute a-holes for forcing it on you. Comment 2. NTA. Your parents actually want you do to something less than you can so your sister isn't hurt rather than trying to find things she can do? Wow, that is horrid. I would find a college, take out loans, and get out of the house as soon as possible. You are the only person who will look out for you, so do the best you can. Also make sure that your parents don't expect you to take in your sister when they get older. They do. Tell them you won't.